Hi, my name's Dave Hare from the Communications 101 class at Cabrini University, and I'm here to talk to you today about sustainable fashion and how it affects the world and some social justice issues that follow behind it. Um, First things first, going into this project, I didn't really have a working knowledge of what sustainable fashion or ethical fashion was at all. I have learned a lot, though, over the course of this experience, researching on a bunch of different platforms of media, whether it be Twitter or just online websites, and so on and so forth. Um, yeah, going into it, I didn't really have all that much knowledge about it whatsoever. I have learned a lot since I have put in some research into it, but some of the issues that follow with sustainable and ethical fashion are that people overseas are putting their lives in danger to make the clothes that we have on our backs right now. And most people would think that making clothes wouldn't be the hardest job to do, but in some cases it can be. And people overseas are basically putting their lives in danger making the clothes that we have today, such as Nike, Adidas, Calvin Klein, all the products that we have here. But some of the sustainable fashion, in a way, can have leadership qualities to it. Um, I would say people who step up and people who step up in these situations to promote ethical and sustainable fashion and show the hardships that these people face. I mean, overseas there has been buildings that have collapsed in Bangladesh because of improper working conditions for these people, and it's just genuinely unfair to think that people are trying to make a living making the clothes that they're not even going to wear and being paid quarters a day, which is 95% a 95% decrease as to what a normal average human in the United States would possibly make. Um, if there's one thing that I would want people to know about sustainable fashion are the risks that go into it. There are a lot of people who don't understand the risks that go into sustainable fashion because people are being killed, overworked, and put in these unfair working conditions just to make a living to make a below average living, as I should say. Um, social media has really changed the way I look at sustainable fashion because when I was looking through tweets about sustainable fashion, I noticed that a lot of the tweets were focused on it. I did not necessarily have any idea of how many tweets I'd find, and in all honesty, I did find a lot about sustainable fashion. So this is a big ongoing problem in the world. Um, if you take a brand like Nike, for instance, Nike you probably think made in American factories, assembly line fashion by people who make an honest living, whereas the reality is that's not necessarily true. A lot of the Nike products are made overseas, and it's not just Nike, it's a lot of the other brands too. They all have overseas sweatshops that do a lot of preferably illegal business that they have over there. They're, the workers are overworked, they're in unfair working conditions, and overall, it's not fair to them when we're over here in the United States, repping Nike, thinking that it's a quality brand that we can trust in and, it's being distributed the right way, whereas it's really not. There's a lot of problems that go into these big businesses, and most of all, I just would like to point out some of the struggles that these people face and to see how this is becoming an even bigger growing problem in the United States and overseas, preferably. Um, as I've worked on this project, I've come to understand the media's role in society because everyone has a chance to make a difference by posting things, by spreading awareness about topics such as sustainable and ethical fashion, and overall there are a lot of downfalls that go into this. There are a lot of people that are putting their lives at risk just to make an honest living, like I've said before. And I would just, a word of advice, I would just say, before you look into a brand and become brand loyal to a certain particular brand, research some of the ways that these clothes are made and see if they are being designed ethically, because 9 times out of 10 they're probably not. So that's why I think we should have a lot more clothes manufacturing facilities in the United States, and have the chance of having the people overseas to get another job, and preferably not go to work and have to worry about whether or not they're going to have a building collapse on them. So all in all, I think sustainable fashion has really changed the way I look at clothing production in a massive way. I think that there are a lot of steps that need to be taken in order for the clothing manufacturing system to change.